Hello, everybody, and welcome, and thank you for joining us on When Can We Play, where the answer is always when the night is the darkest. Tonight you'll join us in the city of Duskball, a dark metropolis, an apocalyptic world where the only thing between us and the ghosts and demons swarming the world outside is an enormous electrified fence powered by Leviathan blood, as you do. Inside this sprawling scum den is an ongoing war in the shadows between the many powers that fight to scrape just a piece of control out of this chaotic life. We'll be joining 3 unfortunate souls caught in that struggle, hoping maybe to wrestle some of that control for their own destinies. Joining us tonight, we have Jacob Skinner, who will be playing the character Everett Vega Valentine, an ex-noble from the mysterious Dagger Isles who had all of his titles taken from him by force the night his father was murdered, and the only name he had connected that now owns these titles is one Lord Scurlock. How are you doing tonight, Vega?
Well, I just lost my girlfriend, so not great.
Yes, that was rather unfortunate when Vega overindulged in some good old alcoholism and has no idea why he lost one of the only nobility connections he has. Thank you very much, Vega. Also introducing the oh-so-lovely Victor Rivera, who will be playing Robert Thingama Cog, a demented and crazed engineer and leech who was once upon a time an academic before he went mad in the search for an alternate fuel source to Leviathan blood. How are we tonight, Thingama?
Screws loose!
Ain't that the truth? Thank you very much, my good sir. And last but not least, we have Paige McCay, who will be portraying Fanny Barnum Keel, who is a cutter and ex-acrobat who turned to a life of crime after her circus was burned down with her family inside. And since then, she has been on a quest for vengeance to find the people who did it. And she did find that the ringleader of that little operation that came and burned it is a member of the Grey Cloaks, who tonight our crew will be attempting to onslaught. How are you tonight, Barnum?
Feeling great, feeling close to collecting some more gray coat fingers. Think about what number are we at now?
This many. Just this one.
Well, it is good to have hobbies. Last session, our crew began seeking allies to join them in a final desperate assault to push the Grey Cloaks out of their district and end the war with them in a decisive blow. They recruited both the Grinders, a mutated crew of ex-factory workers and laborers, and the Lost, a group of self-proclaimed vigilantes that fight to destroy the coal houses and workhouses, an oppressive working-class regime. Both gangs promised aid in return for an unspecified favor at a later date. The time draws near. Preparations draw to a close. And we wait, silently, for the incendiary spark of light of Blades in the Dark. Barnum, these are your arch-enemies. Would you please introduce Episode 5 for us?
Episode 5 is the Powder Keg.
The Powder Keg. One moment. And now, without further ado, when can we play Blades in the Dark? And we are back. As we left off, our crew is currently in Thingama's workshop, of course, plotting, as always, their next course of action before embarking on this daring score.
Well, I feel like it's going to be a long night, so... Oh no. didn't go as planned. Yeah. And I have gears on it because I don't think we have these guys as a sponsor. Yeah.
Nice.
Masking tape.
That is very creative prop design.
Yeah.
I feel bad that I don't have any props. What props would a GM have?
Do you want this?
No, that's a Thingama thing. The cogs and gears, that's definitely your thing.
You 100%. Okay.
So, as it stands, you currently are plotting to end this war with the Grey Cloaks. And for our audience, the Grey Cloaks are a crew of people who once upon a time were Bluecoats, the officers, the town guard of the city, but they were framed for crimes they claimed they did not commit, and have since then been ongoing their own war against the authorities. But they pushed a little too far and ended up pushing into the dilapidated, abandoned district of Six Towers, where our crew's headquarters is secretly underground. This is no good for our crew. They can't handle dealing with an entire a crew of trained former officers constantly interfering with their plans if they are to get vengeance and make some coin. So you guys have one downtime action because you are at war still.
Would anyone care to go first?
I'm gonna go and let me check, but I think I'm just gonna go indulge vice, maybe. Yeah, I should do that.
All right, so Fanny Bonham Carter.
I love her as Bellatrix.
Yeah, it's Helena's lesser-known sister. That was a stupid joke. Okay, so Barnum, her vice, if I am not mistaken, she likes to go to the electrified fence that surrounds the city and fly a kite intentionally up into it so she can feel the rush of the electricity blasting through her veins. There's no high quite like being jolted by 10,000 volts of spirit energy. So go ahead and roll to indulge your vice, Barnum.
No extra dice or anything, just add 0, right?
Yes, precisely.
I rolled a 3 and a 5.
And since you had no points in the resistance you had to use for that, you take the 3. So you lose 3 stress.
I'll take that. And then I want to use a coin to train up my resolve.
Beautiful. You can do just that. And
Probably.
does that end your downtime activities?
It does.
Okay. Who's next?
I am caught between a rock and a hard place, or rather, a fun and a not so fun place. Because I have 4 stress, and I don't want 4 stress going into this. But that's kind of what screwed us over last time.
It screwed you over.
Gone before you even really got to know her. The young and beautiful Rosalind Kellis, who had been helping our group and had taken a fancy to Vega, is now no longer acquainted. Poor guy.
I'm gonna risk it. I just don't. I don't want to risk having that much stress going into something this big.
He's gonna take the risk, and he is gonna drink some booze. Attaboy.
Please, God. Oh!
Well, unfortunately, no gods in Duskfall. They all died a long time ago, but some fortune still shines on you. You clear all of your stress. Who's next?
Me. So my downtime activity is I want to wait for the mail by myself in my workshop.
Okay. And what exactly are you hoping will arrive in the mail?
I'm hoping for a very big package that makes a lot of clinky clanky noises, and then a very specially wrapped thing inside from our friends over at the Leviathan Hunters.
Okay, is this something we had discussed? Is this a long-term project? In terms of game mechanics, what are we hoping to get?
Yes. So, I did an excellent move for one of my downtime activities a couple episodes ago, and where I snitched on Lady Ankiat to Lady Clav in exchange for 6 coins if I bring her in alive, and a sample of something that Thingama wants more than anything else in the world.
They, I'll say for the benefit of narrative, they do respond. And the response is that if you want your reward, you need to bring them, Lady Ankiat. However, since you notified them, they have been keeping tabs on her location, and they know where she is at almost all times. So finding her would be an easy matter.
Okay. I'm mad at Lady Cloth now.
However, that does not cost you mechanically a downtime action, so what would you like to do for that? Unless that you are trying to acquire asset or do a social score of some sort?
Nah, let's just hit on in, because that was my only idea for a downtime.
You don't want to use one? You have no stress, no long-term projects to work
I have
on?
3 stress, but I'm not stupid. And you know what? I will.
There's assets you could possibly acquire, perhaps? Reduce your crew's heat?
Yeah, I'll reduce heat again.
There you go.
I'll just go to, let's see, where have we not explored? I'll go to the night market.
Oh, the beautiful exotic night market. You see all kinds of peddlers of wares selling all kinds of strange things down the street. What do you do to reduce your heat?
I smash a box, like a wooden crate, that I make sure is empty first.
Politely destructive.
Politely destructive, yes.
Beautiful. All right, so for reducing heat, go ahead and make a fortune roll with your action.
Fortune. Bad box. Hey!
Take the lowest roll above. Your crew loses 6 heat. So you go down night market and somebody stops you and they say, "Hold on, haven't I seen you before? You're one of those people that I saw around." And immediately you just look to your left and see a crate and you just start smashing it to pieces in front of this poor man. And he just watches with his jaw dropped. And you look up at him and he says, interest you in some fruit? And that would end your downtime action. All right, friends.
Right.
So now it's time. What's our next course of action? What's our next move? What's our next score?
So, have we gotten all the help we want? Was there no one else we wanted to enlist?
What about this? Do we want to talk to the Sparkrites?
The Sparkrites are a thing we could totally do. We could go get the Sparkrites real quick.
I'll say mechanically, because I've given it a lot of thought since our last session, we made some interesting decisions. I think that acquiring the help of allies for a score, that is pretty much the definition of an acquire asset role. Instead of having to do a whole score, as we chose last time, we interpreted your successful scores as improving your alliance with them. But for the sake of not having to go through a whole score, we can just go ahead and do a general acquire asset to see the quality of what help they can send
It's
you.
fine with y'all.
Okay, I'm good with that.
All right, beautiful. We will go ahead and roll your crew's tier, which at the moment I believe is only a tier 1. So that'll be a 1d6 to see the quality of your help. Oh wait, no, I apologize. I believe I'll set a minimum quality for the help. Sorry, we do acquire assets so rarely. Let me flip my handy dandy.
Ooh,
player
what?
handbook.
Where was that published and produced?
This is just Blades in the Dark, published by Evil Hat Productions and written by the incredibly talented John Harper. A wonderful game for ages probably not child. I would not play this.
Yeah, let a child indulge their vice. That's
There's a lot of fantasy drugs in this game, and I don't want to open kids to that kind of influence. If you're underage and watching this, you need to leave this channel right now, or just never tell your parents you're what. No, that's terrible. Don't do that. I don't want to get reported.
Stay in school.
A joke that gets interpreted weird. And it was
Don't
a bad
do
joke,
drugs.
so it'd be fair.
Nice, yeah. Well.
Okay.
Don't overindulge your vice. Don't.
Okay, yes, the quality. Okay. So, mind you, since it's a downtime action, that will cost you a rep or a coin to do.
Do we got rep? Well, I feel like this is very important, so I would be fine losing either a coin or a rep. What is?
Well, didn't we have a lot of coin, or am I incorrect?
We have 3 coin and 3 rep. So it's 6 of one, half dozen of it.
I would say lose the coin, keep the rep.
Boom, let's do it.
Alrighty.
Okay, cool.
Subtract that 1 coin, and I'm going to go ahead and roll your crew's tier. All right, 5, not bad. All right, so you get a tier 1. The Sparkrights are able to supply you with an operative who is not necessarily, they're not a group of fighters. They're scientists and engineers. They do have spies, but they're mostly spies. So the person they're able to send you with is an infiltrator of sorts, someone who is specifically good at going places unseen. They won't be the best at hand-to-hand fighting, but for now you have the asset, and keep track of this mentally for yourself. The asset you have is a Sparkright operative. In fact,
I'm just gonna write it in our crew sheet just so everyone knows where it is.
and for the sake of the scores you accomplish, I'm gonna go ahead and make a similar tier roll for the other 2 crews. What kind of crew members they're able to send with you. So you've got.
Okay. Right, go ahead.
Oh yeah, okay. We've got 1 tier 1 Sparkright operative. You've got, for the grinders, you will get an extremely brutal-looking fighter. This guy's just a big, bully-looking type. That'll be a tier 2. And from the Lost, they also send you a very serious-faced looking operative sort, but this one has a rifle on him and a cutlass. He's extremely quiet, but at tier 2, the leader of the Lost assures you that he is quite deadly. And the reason they don't send their entire gangs after you is because typically that's not how they operate. Having 4 full-sized gangs fighting would draw an insane amount of attention from the blue coats, so that's why they only send, a few of their members. Plus, they still have to keep their own operations going. But as it stands, you've got 3 extremely trained fighters with you. So that's what you've got in terms of alliances going into this score.
Are we still able to use our Ghost Spirit Army at any point that Bernard gave us in our Lost episode?
Ooh, I think that's going to be a flashback kind of thing.
It might be. I just wanted to make sure we knew where all of our resources were.
Yeah, that could be when you're trying to add things to your engagement roll. You could definitely, if you had a way to call on him to help.
Okay. I just wanted as a group, so maybe while we're talking through all these, you guys are listing all of them, and we've talked to the Sparkrights, and like, ooh. Also, don't forget Bernard's Spirit Doll Army.
Yeah.
The play. If we need it, we have it.
Perfect. Well, what's the plan?
I need to find Lady with the Eye Patch to distract her. Do we know where their base is or where we're attacking? Do we need to do a point of infiltration?
At present, you do not know where their HQ is located. You would have to do some kind of gather information roll, probably.
Could we use the Sparkright guy, infiltrator, to find out where?
Ooh, the man on the inside.
All right. Very cool. All right, so go ahead and someone make a command roll.
Where is command?
Come on! Now can I do a sway roll?
Unfortunately, for commanding others, that is pretty cut and dry.
Yeah, I got 0 dots in it.
I don't guess it matters who does it then.
Not much use to.
I'll do it.
How about this?
I'm the
How about this?
spark right
I will instead make another call. I will change my call. I'll roll his tier to see how the quality of information goes. So the spark right guy, was that the one that we rolled a 6? That was the tier 2, right? One of them.
No, it was the
No,
first
he's
one.
tier
He
1.
was the 5. He was the.
Everyone
5,
else is a tier 2, but he's the
okay.
infiltrator's a tier 1.
All right, I will roll 1d6. All right, so for a 4, that is a mixed result, or a medium amount of information. He goes ahead and he scouts for you, and he does whatever he does secretly to find out this information. And when he comes back, he informs you that they've actually taken up residence in an old, burned-out HQ. What used to be probably not an old city watch station, an old Bluecoats HQ. He tells you that they definitely keep some of them there at all times, keeping guard, but he does not know where all of them are presently.
I think regardless of anything, our mission here is assault. It's just a matter of what kind of assault.
All right, there we go. That was beautiful. All right, so assault. And I believe for assault, the detail we need is the point of attack. And if you are hoping to do some sort of score, a very common one is distractions, for example. We can do linked plans. So we can do one of two options. Either one of you performs a setup maneuver, which gives a chance of increasing the engagement roll. You get an extra die if it goes well. Or it's its own score that's going on either beforehand or simultaneously.
I think I like the setup.
Yeah, that sounds cool.
So All your right. point of attack, so don't worry about the specifics of spinning off yet. So the point of attack, where this score is about to take place, is it the headquarters? Like
Yes.
not involving the distraction and
Yes.
Barnum elsewhere?
Correct.
Okay, excellent. Let's do our engagement roll to decide how this goes as you're approaching. So, Vega and Thingama, without Barnum, go with just a handful of men in the darkness, the dark cover of the eternal nighttime that is Duskfall. And the street itself is actually fairly crowded for a place where, in theory, a secret headquarters is located. It's a grand-looking brick building that has been, over time, been dilapidated and broken down and overgrown with whatever plant life can grow in Duskfall. And as you're approaching, this is semantics, but where are you approaching in the headquarters? It's a big old police building. So are you coming in through the windows like SWAT style, or are you coming in through the front, just barrage point of attack? What's your...
I would say we've had mixed success with roof, but that's, not the front door where they're expecting it.
Or at least through the back door.
I have no comments to say that are appropriate.
I'm proud of you. All right, so you guys absolutely can choose the roof. That's fine. Like, have
I'm good with that.
It's narrative flavor at that point. All right, so you start off with 1 die by default. So let me see. Is this bold or daring? I'd say hell yeah. So I'm gonna go ahead and give you an extra die for that. Does the plan's detail expose a vulnerability of the target or hit them where they're weakest? I would honestly say so. Their headquarters? I mean, what could be weaker than that? So that's 3 dice so far. Is the target strongest against this approach, or do they have particular defenses or special preparations? As a matter of fact, they do. So that's gonna go back to be 2 dice. Any friends or contacts provide aid or insight? Let me see. You've got Grinders, the Lost, and the Sparkrights. So that's 5 dice now. And the Grey Cloaks, I believe, are a higher tier than you, which means, only by 1. So that's down to 4 dice now. Are there any other elements we could consider?
Does the diversion that we're running apply at all?
Because it would theoretically take away a few people.
Let's go ahead and see that. So I don't know if mechanically this is how the rules work, but this is what we're doing because it's our damn game. So
Yeah, John Harper.
sorry, John Harper.
Yeah, Evil Hat Productions. We're doing it. Just kidding. We love you guys.
I'd like to think he would approve. So we're gonna do whatever the hell we want. Barnum, go ahead and tell me what fortune roll you're about to make.
Well, we are going to be in Coleridge,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm not sure what fortune roll to make. What should I? Okay. Fortune
Wait,
roll.
where are you hoping to find her in Coleridge, precisely?
I
Like
don't.
just like ambushing her. You can keep it vague, but like
Sorry, I was like.
you're expecting to poof in front of her like a genie? Like
No,
what's the
no.
narrative?
I'm planning on going to the pub, laying down, like we were talking about earlier, some lines about trying to find her, and then just kind of existing in Coleridge where we have 2 separate allies.
All right, and what action roll will you make for this fortune?
Okay. Or fortune roll. Just hope for just like her showing up kind of thing, for it being a full diversion. Probably. I'm thinking I'm gonna roll sway.
All right, go ahead and roll a sway.
So I push roll fortune, and then I put however many dice I have in there, right?
Mm-hmm. And I'll say, setting up the scene, you sure enough go into a pub, and I'll say narratively you would think to check here because maybe you've seen her before, maybe you just feel like she would be here. But nonetheless, this pub, relatively empty. In fact, not even a bartender in sight. She's leaning back in her in a chair with her profile facing the door, and she's looking down at one of her daggers that she's kind of spinning on the table with one hand. And without looking up at you, she says, "Hello." Just casually as can be.
Hi.
Off to a great start.
That's how I start.
She looks almost a bit serious, like she doesn't get all bubbly and jump up to greet you like she normally does. She looks rather solemn. And she says, "You know, life didn't always used to be so complicated. It was always binary, but in a really easy to understand way. You know, I had really hoped we could be friends. Actual friends. So," and she stabs the dagger into the table and leans back, putting her hands on the chairs around her. She says, "What brings the pleasure?"
Just stopping by for a friendly visit. And I pull out a dagger and I stab it next to hers, and then I sit down.
Just a friendly visit with no ulterior motives or anything of the sort, right?
You keep saying you want to be friends. You keep offering me help. I'm here to finally see what that offer entails.
Ah, are you? And go ahead and roll your sway.
Now, for our audience, I have been training my resolve to up my sway so that I have 2 little dice in there.
The anticipation's killing me.
Yeah.
Good.
All right.
5 and a 4.
5 and a 4. I'll say that. She sighs and says, "All right, I'll stay here and chat with you."
But with how many rifles pointed?
Oh, they'll behave. And she points towards the few guys that you can see in this room with her, just standing and sitting in various positions. None of them have drinks in hand. They're all clearly just waiting.
So inconspicuous. Can I say that word?
Inconspicuous, yes.
How inconspicuous of them. They look like they fit in here.
You don't.
I never do.
I liked that about you.
I know.
So is
So
this
what do you
distraction
want with me?
going as well as you hoped?
I don't know what you mean.
Meanwhile, let's go back to our engagement roll. So, I'll say that because of the success of the roll, I will go ahead and give you an extra die. However, I will add a complication once we begin. So, let's go ahead and roll our 5 dice to see what fate befalls our crew as they begin their assault. So
If
all
out of
you,
5 dice we don't get a 6, I'm gonna be pissed.
So all of you at this point, setting the scene, all of you are waiting, surrounding the windows on top of the roof. Vega and Thingama, I'm assuming, are on the roof with the more trained ones, while the others just wait for the sound. They wait for the first sound of this attack beginning. And so who's diving in first? Or
I said
through the roof, there's probably like an emergency hatch or some sort.
I say prowl, boy.
I would like. You know what? Let's send in our fighters first, have them bursting through, and the moment they go in, lay down a smoke so that I and Thingama can get through unseen.
Should we like send them in a different way? Like
Oh, don't get caught up. Don't get caught up in the semantics. By the way, your load size. Pick your load size for the score, and for our audience, that's how many items they have available to them for this attack.
I'm loaded for bear. There is no such thing as subtlety with this. I need as much as I can carry.
Yeah, I'm carrying 6 as well for a heavy load.
If a blue coat so much as glances at you, they will see that you are decked out with weaponry. Let's begin our
Well,
attack.
they're gonna.
4s
What?
across the board. I don't know statistically the possibility of that happening.
What is that?
Immediately, you hear glass shatter as the thugs that you've hired begin storming inside of the building. And you hear shattering and destruction of more furniture inside, probably. Shouting and screaming. And you guys dive in. Thingama, presumably. So, Thingama, you said you're using a smoke cover?
Yes, that is something I can do.
All right, go ahead and mark off that item. Thingama throws down the cover, and both of you come in through the roof as what appears to be a stormy, cloudy sky appears in this room almost. And as you get down, you see that the men that you have on your side have barreled in, and they've started shoving over furniture and smashing things, but that's all that noise was. There's no fighting, and all of a sudden, abruptly, there's silence. As you see the men, you're up at the top in the banisters of this what seems to be foyer of this building, up in sort of a catwalk that leads up to the ceiling. And you look down from the top, you can see your men looking around, confused now, holding their weapons and suddenly growing incredibly wary. And you look around for what you're obviously expecting to be a problem, and sure enough, you see up in the catwalks with you, just peering through the smoke that you can barely see through, you see men lined up all along the ceiling, and they all have rifles pointed down at the lobby, and they begin opening fire. And immediately you see a couple of your guys go down, but because you are in a risky position with that 4 you rolled, that's your consequence for that. I guess I'll start a clock. What do I want to call it? I want to call it troops defeated. Or I'll just call it troops.
Meaning their forces that we have to kill, right?
See, that wasn't clear enough. I'm going to say our forces. That's what I'll call it.
Okay.
So basically, our force strength. So I'm going to start off putting. See, I'll up it a tier for each one you have. So I'll give it 8 slices. So yeah, I'll give him 2. Sorry, our force defeated. There we go. So yeah, I'm gonna give it 2 slices. But you guys have an opportunity to act with only a risky action.
We're
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
No,
okay.
no, you.
We're up in the rafters. We're up in the rafters, right?
Yes, you and Thingama
Okay.
are both in the rafters.
I have an idea. Narratively, you ready?
Okay.
I look at Thingama and I'm like, Thingama! And I just toss him the night vision goggles and tell him to put it on.
Oi. Have you added more? Are those new?
Nope, they're just bigger than you remember.
Man, ain't that the truth? All right, so go on, Jake/Vega.
And I tell him to throw a bomb their way.
You good? So I throw a bomb their way.
All right.
Cool. So I can do 3. Yeah, I can do a bandolier, alchemicals, and 3 bombs, 3 grenades. Easy peasy. Is this like a rec roll, Mr. GM?
You tell me. Actually, you tell me what action you would like. You tell me your goal, what action you're using for that goal, and I will tell you your position you stand to lose and your effect you stand to gain.
I want to blow up the gray cloaks in the rafters. I will use the grenades for probably wreck.
All right. I'll say that will be a risky. I'll say because you use your smoke cover and to give you some kind of benefit here, I'll say great. No, hold on.
Yeah.
Sorry. There's only. No. Yeah, great. Screw it. Great. I'm going to start off cutting you slack for this because it can only get better.
Would Vega, since you gave me night vision goggles, would you want to spend a stress to make that an extra die?
Why, yes, of course.
Excellent. So,
We've already roleplayed how that looked, so that's great.
boom. Great. I will submit.
A 6.
And so that is 3 and a 6.
All right, so with a 6, you don't have to suffer the consequences. You send the grenade flying off, and it explodes. Obviously, as they do. What great narrative descriptions we have here. It goes kaboom, and you hear a splintery noise as the banisters that some of their men were on plummet. And because it was great effect, you're going to get 3 slices with that 6 towards the HQ cleared clock.
Oh boy.
And you watch as the men just come almost like it's like a shelf being knocked over. The men just start, the ones that weren't flown off, some of them start pouring down and falling on the ground, and immediately your men that came with you start immediately not losing any face, not losing time, start charging and slashing. And the thing is, the Lost, these guys were trained back when they were blue coats. So the thing is, even falling from the ceiling and hitting the ground, a lot of them are jumping down intentionally and drawing their weapons. Some are staying, a couple managed to stay up on the rafters, but they're not able to get shots through all the smoke that you've created. And Vega, you hear a voice say, oh, I was so looking forward to... Oh, you're not the clown. And you turn Vega, and just barely the smoke wisping across his face, you see Hutch, the second in command of the Grey Cloaks, and the very same man who burned down Barnum Circus. Meanwhile, Barnum, you're in this pub. with Ness, both of you just sitting here, you surrounded by men. That was a weirdly phrased sentence. Surrounded by enemies. And Ness looking as solemn and calm as can be. She looks disheartened, almost. And she says, you know this can only end one way.
Aw, sweetie, are you just upset that I went and made some different alliances?
Yes, I'm very upset. And she picks up her dagger and slams it flat on the table. I'm really upset. That should have been us. We were gonna be the dynamic duo, me and you. Ness and Barnum, Ness. It doesn't flow that great. We would have figured out something though. Nobody kills like us. And she grabs your hand like a friend. And presumably you're already like pulling back away from it. No?
Not this time.
All right, she takes your hand and looking you deep in the eyes, she says, we would have ruled this city together. Me, you, and Hutch. He's a good man. You don't understand the things he's been through and the ways he's changed. And she looks and she watches your eyes, just the dead-faced expression of you just, uh-huh. And her face sinks and she says,
Not this time. I'm not dead this time. I'm listening.
oh, okay.
I'm engaged.
Beautiful, okay. And in that case, she continues and she smiles and says, doesn't that sound great? And look, you can call
It
this off.
does.
My men might not have killed yours. You know, it might be going fine. There might still be time. And you know, honestly, you should cut those loose ends anyway. I mean, they're holding you back. One of them's a crazy drug addict and the other one's a pompous little prince. You, me, we're warriors. We're a dying breed.
I want to reach up my other hand and just touch her face. I know. And we can call it off, and it can just be the two of us. As long as the drug addict and the little prince survive, we can call it off. And it'll just be us.
You really mean that?
Yeah?
Would you like to roll an action to convince her? She looks hesitant to just accept this.
Why would she be hesitant? She's in love with me. Okay, can I do another sway?
Yes, you can, because it turns out I misinterpreted
Okay.
that rule. That is not what when it says don't roll twice for the same thing. That's not what it means. It means, and I will clarify this for you guys, it means if you roll to avoid something, you can't also roll to resist the harm, or to resist the harm from it. Like, you either, or sorry, resistance doesn't negate it. If you roll to avoid something, and you fail, it happens, period. You can't roll again to try and avoid that harm. All you can do is use resistance, that's it. But as far as rolling actions, yeah. The only way I could ever stop that is narratively it having less effect. So,
Oh, that's awesome.
that being said, what is your goal?
So what's my position?
What's your goal first?
My goal is to convince her to send someone to call off the attack. To make her believe that I want to be her whatever this is that she would like. I can't tell if she's in love with Hutch or she has like a daddy issue complex with Hutch. I don't know what it is. I'm not asking any questions. If she wants to be a bisexual icon, fine. But like, I don't know.
All right. So I'll say for this, it is a risky limited.
Fine. Well, look at these freckles. Who wouldn't just believe me?
And she says, by the way,
Can I get an extra die?
She says, even if I tell my men to stand down, do you really think yours will?
Maybe.
You can get an extra die if you spend
Am I
stress
worth
for
it to you? I know you won't, okay? I know you won't, Vega. I'm not, I got a plan, alright? Alright, I'll actually spend a stress to make it risky standard, if that's possible.
That'll be 2 stress to do that.
Okay. That's fine. Well, I'm gonna do another one for bonus die. So.
Okay.
So 3 stress altogether. I prepared for this moment.
And with a
What did it come out
whopping
as?
5. Success
It
with
was
a risky consequence. All right. So, let's see how this play out. Success with a risky consequence. Okay.
but a standard effect.
Yes, but with a standard effect. So, she says, all right, leap of faith. And she looks back over her shoulder at one of her men and says, tell them to call it off if they can, retreat, do what they gotta do. And he says, so we don't, and she says, just call off the attack. And he nods, and he heads out, and he looks back at you and says, I really hope that you'll forgive me. We could really do
He
it.
does or she does?
Ness says that to you. However,
Forgive you for what? You have to be honest with me.
Well, and you hear a click behind your head, and she says, don't turn around too fast. You know.
The noise.
And just to be extra rude, the person behind you, just to make it clear what it is, you feel the barrel pressed against Barnum's head. You are now in a desperate position for your next roll. But I will go ahead and this is not quite what happened. Actually, I'm just going to make a clock titled Ness and let that be vague to see how we deal with this threat. Meanwhile, back at the headquarters that is currently being assaulted, the sounds of blades clashing against blades happen below. Meanwhile, Thingama and Vega are still up on these banners at the top. And not too far away, Vega, you see Hutch staring straight at you, just murder in his eyes, and just a grin that's almost reminiscent of Barnum when she gets to kill him. This is the grin of someone who enjoys this entire situation. And he holds up a single short sword, and you see he has some sort of round object in his other hand, but you can't tell quite what it is. What do you do? Oh, Jake, I think your mic's not working.
Sorry.
There we go.
Yeah.
Okay. In this case, I'm going to use mechanically demolition tools, but a flashbang. Toss a flashbang in his direction and then prowl away to sneak towards and hopefully in an advantageous position to take out some other of these gunners that are still hanging out in the rafters.
All right, so... Sorry, run that by me again? That was a lot of detail at once.
Toss a flashbang.
Okay.
Use that to prowl away and just basically ignore Hutch altogether to go take out
okay.
the gunner.
Okay, so you're trying to get down to the ground without being shot at or stabbed via flashbang.
Well, are there still more gunners in the rafters? I'm hoping I can just stay in the rafters still.
I'll say narratively there managed to be a couple more that stand on the top. I'll say, just to give you a number, 2. There's 2 more guys who managed to stay on and didn't get blown off. And Hutch, of course. But otherwise, all of them are down on the ground.
Okay, yeah, then I'm going to stay in the rafters and sneakily work my way towards using the flashbang and the smoke. The other 2 gunners.
All right. Go ahead and roll your prowl. That'll probably be, I'm going to say, risky standard.
Good old risky standard.
Good old risky standard. Very straightforward.
No bonus die or anything?
If you can think of one, but...
That was what I was hoping
Unless
the
you wanna-
flashbang was going to do.
Oh, Yeah, that's pretty fair, isn't it? Well, no, flashbang is. I feel like that would increase your effect to great, honestly.
Okay.
Because the action is
Let me
the
reset
prowl. The goal is getting away. The flashbang is making that effect greater, presumably. So.
Okay, gotcha. Risky. Great. I'll leave it at that. Ooh! Ooh!
And the man got a 6. All right, so with that, you toss a flashbang immediately up front just as Hutch jumps forward at you. He sees you throw something, and he throws something as well. And it goes completely wide of either of you. You hear glass shatter as some sort of liquid splatters on the floor and drizzles down the wall. You're not sure what it is, but Vega, you don't stick around to find out. You toss the flashbang, and you're already leaping across the banister, presumably with your weapon drawn. And yeah, at this point, you are in a controlled position for your next action. So, yeah, what do you do next?
I have a move, Jake, if you want to think about it for a little bit.
Go ahead.
So I will use climbing gear to, like, it's a rope and a little grappling hook kind of guy, and then I will try and like whip Hutch, like throw it and then get him tangled up, and then then jump off the rafters and like swing, and then he falls. So either it's tinker and like using all of that mechanics, or finesse, I would argue.
Okay. I'll say he's disoriented by the flashbang for now, so that'll definitely give you some kind of advantage. So tell me your goal and the action.
To get Hutch out of the rafters and maybe hurt him.
Okay, so you're trying to swing him, like lasso him off, like down onto the ground?
Yeah.
Okay, very neat. I think, honestly, let me see. You're trying to use finesse, you said?
Or tinker for, like, if it's a steampunky, like, rope and grappling hook, like.
I feel like grappling hooks and ropes are kind of like inherently steampunk. Isn't like rope part of the aesthetic or something? Either way, I don't know. The tinker's a stretch. Like the quality of the rope isn't what's gonna catch him. You know.
True.
Finesse, that could be arguable. Trying to rope a specific body part, and he's not that far away from you, so it doesn't seem as much hunty. So I'll say, risky standard.
Risky standard finesse?
Yeah.
Risky standard. Yeah, that's good. And then I rolled a 4 and a 5.
Not bad. 5. So your highest roll is a 5, which means success at risky at standard effect with a consequence at risky position. So let's see. All right. I'll say that as he's leaping midair after the flashbang, you immediately have this moment where you get together your rope and you toss it, and it grabs around him, and it ropes his arm that has the, it ropes his left arm, which has the sword in hand, and you give a yank, and he goes flying off the banister. But he tries at the last moment to make a swipe in midair, and he slashes a deep, deep gouge into your leg. And you will, unless you resist it, you will take a level 2 harm.
I will resist it.
Leg slash. All right.
How much stress do I spend to resist it?
Go ahead and click on prowess to try to resist this consequence on your character sheet. So you'll be rolling your prowess resistance dice.
I rolled a 1 and a 6 and 5.
6 minus 6 stress. So you see this sword, and just from pure reflex, you step back, preventing the gouge from being that as deep as it could have been. So that is now a level 1 harm. Cut. Very simple. But nonetheless, Hutch goes plummeting to the ground, and you hear a "Whoa!" as he slams. And as a... Oh man, he's a special character, so honestly, I'm also gonna go ahead and hand him his own clock.
Oh my god.
I'm gonna label it Hutch.
I have my next move.
All right.
You're having way too much fun with this new clock feature. And
I'm
I just
having
want our
so
audience
much
to
fun.
know that.
This is like
We're
the
gonna have a
closest...
clock swap.
What did you just say to
New
me,
clock.
Victor?
We're gonna have a clock, where when we fill up that clock, but
Starts
only
at-
when we
it
fill up
starts
the
at
other clock.
Oh,
Yeah.
so the clock only gets filled every time the clock gets filled. I gotcha. All right, so
Yeah.
Hutch, luckily for you, isn't as much the fighter as Ness is. So he's already halfway there. However, as much as he's not as sturdy, he's still got the bloodlust. And even from the ground, he holds up his pistol and he's gonna attempt to take a... Actually, he's gonna make a shot at just one of your nearby soldiers. Since presumably one of the grinders runs up with a giant sword and goes to slam down, and Hutch just raises his weapon. And I'm gonna roll a fortune roll on behalf of the Grey Cloaks. Now, normally the GM does not make rolls. Actually, yeah, no, I'm choreographing the danger. So you see he's about to shoot one of your men. So Vega or Thingama. Vega, you're standing up on the banisters with two of these riflemen next to you, and they look up and see you next to them. Thingama, you just lassoed Hutch to the ground, and you're holding a rope holding his arm.
I don't know if this needs a roll or anything, but since I have that rope and then I'm in the rafters, then I will jump on the other side of a rafter and then like yank his arm up.
Huh. All right. What action would you like to use for that?
Let's see. That gravity. So maybe wreck with my intention to like rip his arm ouchie out of his socket or something. Like, I mean, it's falling, so
Mhm. Yeah, no, that's fair. Yeah, all right. I'll give you a... For that, I'll give you a desperate standard.
desperate.
Because your plan is to drop down into the battle, essentially. And
That's good.
Hutch is going to be flying up in the air next to you as you come down.
Great. All right. Desperate standard rolling to recti. Yeah. And I rolled a 2 and a 5.
All right, so let me see. How am I going to narrate that? So, for one thing... All right, so for your desperate, I'm going to say not only does he shoot the man before you're able to yank him up, but also in the distraction of a couple more trying to come help him, they get sliced down. And so, because it's desperate, you got 3 slices in our forces defeated clock. But here's something fun. I mean, the way the game works, I wish I had given him more slices, but it's too late now because you did succeed with standard action at that. So as Hutch fires off the shot, you jump down. Do you scream anything as you jump down?
This is for money!
And as you're screaming that in slow motion, as you're coming down, you turn and you see just his furious gaze as he passes you, and he raises his sword. He drops his sword into his other hand, and he goes to take a slash at you. And that's when his arm gets yanked over the banisters, and you hear a sickening crack. And your side of the rope you're holding onto jolts for a second, and you give a little jump, and you hear it as the rope itself goes taut as you hit the ground, but you feel blood trickling down the rope onto your hands and splatter onto your arm. and you look up and you see that Hutch is hanging on by a sinew, if anything. But that's not even the problem as much as his skull crashing in to the corner of a banister. And do you let go of the rope or do you keep hanging on to it for a sec?
I let go.
You let go of the rope and Hutch's entire body comes falling down, and it's like his arm is connected by a piece of string as blood just trails out of his head as he sails to the ground with a on the... And he is very decisively dead. So at this point, Barnum has a gun pointed at the back of her head while Ness waits after the messenger that Barnum convinced her to send. And Ness says, all right. I think it's been long enough. Do you think it's been long enough? And she says to one of the guys, and one of them shrugs. He says, oh, you sent him about 10 minutes ago. She looks back. All right. Okay, so, Barnum, your friends are dead.
Okay.
Yeah. So, how does that make you feel?
Well, then I have nothing to lose
Right.
in joining you.
Okay, good. That's... all right, that's a lot better than I thought you would take it. Meanwhile, back at the base, back where the fight is commencing, Jake, you're up on this banister fighting these, or facing these two riflemen. Meanwhile, you hear someone kicks in the door below you and says, "It's time! Clear!" And suddenly the men start backing off towards walls and towards exits while your crew members kind of push them away. And Vega, you see one of the riflemen. He puts his rifle down, the one that's furthest from you. There's one more standing between him and you. And you see him pull something out of his pocket. And he breathes deeply. And he rears back to throw his grenade. Not at you, not even at your men. You don't see where he's throwing it. It's somewhere down on the floor, somewhere in the lobby. What do you do?
Flashback.
Flashback? What are you flashbacking to?
We stationed our friend from the Lost with his rifle outside of the building, ready to pop the necessary shot when we most desperately needed him to.
All right.
And so he's going to take a shot through the window with his, I'm sure, very, very efficient rifle at this guy about to throw this.
All right. Go ahead and take 2 stress for that one. Let me see. How do we want to do this? I guess I can roll a tier, but there's got to be some kind of... see, normally that would be a command roll to accomplish that. How would we do this? I guess I could give him... This is weird. I'm pretty sure I'm making up rules that there are rules for, but let's go. I'm going to give him a position and effect and roll his tier for it, and basically you get affected by the position.
Okay.
Can I kick in some stress to make it better?
Yes, you can.
So, yeah, during this flashback, it's Thingama going, okay, so grenade from me, good. Grenade from anyone else, bad.
All right, so go ahead and take...
1 stress, I need.
Yes. All right, so that'll give him, because he was a tier 2, I believe, that'll give us 3d6, and it's going to be a desperate standard effect. Yeah, desperate standard. Look at me, I can GM. Let's roll. I didn't roll. It was an unrecognized command. I did it wrong. That was anticlimactic. Let's roll. The highest roll was
A 4.
a 2. Or sorry, a 4.
What?
So with
Oh.
that success, I'm God. The rolls are what I say they are. All right. So with that 1, he successfully. 4. He successfully fires through the adjacent window. As he's holding up the grenade, you hear a gunshot, and the man's entire body goes limp, and the grenade on the ground, landing just below you, Vega, as it explodes, sending you and the rifleman next to you flying. And you are going to take a level 3 harm unless you resist it.
I will absolutely resist it.
All right, go ahead and roll your resistance to see how much stress you take.
Okay. Roll my resistance. Where's my resistance? I'm sorry.
Oh, that's fine. You will be rolling your resolve. Apologies.
Okay.
All right.
And a 1.
6 minus the highest result. So you take 1 stress as at the last moment you you see that the grenade is about to explode and you don't wait around, you jump. Just narratively, are you jumping aside, staying up here on the banners, or are you just letting yourself try to barrel roll down on the ground?
I am going to jump and use the climbing gear to swing to another set of the banisters.
All right. So you take a level 2 harm, concussion, as you barely at the last minute manage to swing out your hook, Spider-Man style, and catch onto one of them, barely keeping a grip as your entire world is spinning. And you hear again the shout, hearing, "Clear out! Clear out!" They're all matching the call with each other for some reason. Meanwhile, Barnum, Ness says, "Okay, so my men, in theory, are going to report back to me, and then you and I are going to go investigate things. I just gotta say, it's really weird that you were so hesitant to join me before, and now you're just all open arms. It seems almost a little unbelievable. Like you said, your friends are dead. What have you got to hide?"
I'm full of surprises, and then I reach behind her ear and pull out a rose.
Oh, that was Barnum. And immediately the door bursts open, and it says, "Captain, it's not going according to plan. The bomb failed to go off. They have reinforcements we weren't expecting. Hutch is dead." And she's smiling, and immediately, wait, what? He says, "Yes, Captain. Hutch is," and immediately she grabs her dagger off of the table and walks up to him, and he says, "No," and she just stabs down into the center of his collarbone and just yanks it out and shoves him against the wall and screams, "What did you say to me?" And he's just, of course, choking and sputtering at this point as he slides down the wall to the floor. And she says,
Flashback!
"What's up?"
Wait, go ahead. What did she say? I'm sorry.
No, please, flashback.
No,
What's
curious.
up? What's up?
No, what did she say?
No, let me see the flashback. What's the flashback?
No, I have to know first, because the flashback doesn't matter until I know. I jumped the gun.
She simply says, "Shouldn't have done that." And immediately another guy pokes his head in the door.
I wouldn't if I were you, dear.
"Captain, we need to pull our men out, or we need reinforcements." And immediately she looks at you, and she grits her teeth and says, "You think you're so clever." And she stomps towards you. What's your flashback?
Flashback. In this moment, I had gone to Bernard's castle, and I had spoken to my dear friend and told him that I might be in dire trouble. And I'm not sure if this is good, if I can do this too, but if there is a way to use my arcane implement or something I have to make kind of like almost like a warning beacon, so I could tell him when I needed him.
So
like something that connected him and I.
Going to the once abandoned Skurlock Manor where your friend Bernard resides. Of course, upon entering, every single inch of wall is covered in decorations and old pictures and frames and ribbons and junk, which you know is Bernard treasures all of these human attachments. And usually previously when you ever arrived here, it would be silent, and you'd be greeted only with creaking noises and the occasional creepy doll. But this time, Bernard stands at the top of his staircase, recently damaged from your last encounter with him when you guys were attacked. But nonetheless, he stands proudly. He's wearing a big, billowy, red, furry, stereotypical king's cape. And he says, "My friend, you have returned. So good seeing you." And as he fails at iambic pentameter, you watch as his shoulder rips open a little. It's been so long since I've had to practice.
Don't hurt yourself.
That was 10.
Go over and start sewing his shoulder back together. I give it to you. I don't want Bernard hurt.
What brings you here, my friend, from recently?
And I'm just going to, for not taking up too much time, I'm going to tell him about the war we're starting. I'm going to tell him about, or the war that we're in. I'm going to tell him about how I'm going to need his spirits and potentially his help. And I tell him, and only Bernard, my actual plan with Ness. Which is to trick her into thinking that I want to partner with her, and then getting him and the spirits to come help me when she tries to murder me.
He nods and says, oh boy. Most bold your request is for me, my friend. And he holds out what seems like a small wooden charm. And he says, to aid you, this gives call for one spirit. And he places it in your hand, and he says, tarry not. Control is tenuous here. Don't expect too much aid from this one long. And essentially, you get the gist. He's trying to tell you that you will have not necessarily control over this creature, but they will show up and aid you in whatever way a ghost might aid. And that'll cost you 2 stress for that flashback, friend.
Already took it.
So, as Ness is walking towards you with her dagger in hand, and your hand in your own pocket gripping this spirit charm, would you like to attune to the great spirit field that surrounds us all to try to summon this creature to aid you?
I'm not going to use it yet.
You're not?
Nope.
All right. So, all right. Okay. No mercy. Okay. All right. So essentially, she walks up to you, and she has her dagger in hand, and staring you in the eyes, you see for the first time her one good eye has tears building up in it. And she says, he was the only reason I got this far. He was everything to me. You know, we understood each other because we both know what it's like to live on that hairline fracture. We're falling either way, shatters everything around. The crack just travels through all the glass. And we're both just one misfortune from humanity just being a little too inconvenient. And she stabs you immediately, just raising her dagger, stabs in the stomach, unless you resist.
Do I take stress to resist?
Or unless you'd like to make some sort of let me give you an action chance to, if you'd like to make an action to try to avoid it.
Give me a
But
second.
I'll say that your killer's instincts, you know that her dagger is about to find its way to your stomach right now.
Scary weapon or tool, and this might be a stretch, so tell me if it is, and we can back off of it. But I want to say I have some sort of a kind of like a shield. I don't know if that's like necessarily scary, but
Armor?
You do have
Yeah.
armor.
hold on, maybe
You guys
I
never
have
used that
armor.
either.
yeah, I have armor underneath my clown outfit for once, so she has no idea about.
There you go. All right.
I like to think I stole it from a gray cloak.
Beautiful. All right. So you go ahead and mark off those points for having that armor. Shoot, I think armor just straight up negates levels of harm. This is your guys' first time actually using it too.
Yeah.
Okay, it reduces 1 harm automatically. And if it's heavy armor, then it'll be 2 harm you can resist. So, you sense she's about to stab you. What do you do, Barnum? You have a gun behind you, and this woman in front of you, plotting to stabby stab. What do you do?
Oh goodness, I'm thinking about her little speech she just gave. So I'm gonna roll sway again, and I'm gonna say, and you don't think I have that same feeling? You don't think I understand that? Do you know what Hutch did to my family? And I haven't tried to kill him. I came here on good terms with you. What my men did is none of my concern. I thought they were dead according to you. If they got Hutch before you got there, I have no control over that.
Well,
We
it
can
seems-
go after them if you want.
It seems what we really have in common is this man. And hey, you won. So, if you'd like to go ahead and make that sway action, that would be a desperate limited.
Okay. Ooh, a new result. Oh. 6 and a 6 for our audience. A 6 and a 6. That's 2 sixes.
That is a critical.
What?
That's a critical success in this game. So,
She's in love with me. I have cute freckles. Oh.
unfortunately, your effect was limited. So, at most, you'll get, I'll say,
And you get an XP.
I did.
don't forget your XP in that.
Oh,
Yeah.
I took it immediately. Since before I even
Alright.
rolled, I was like,
I'll go ahead and give 2 slices on Ness's clock and say that just as her blade, you see her shifting back, her hand is in like the backward shivving position. Like all it'll take is 1 thrust forward. And she says, you know what it's like to lose everything, so you know how I feel. And the one that took everything from me is standing right here in front of me.
oh, I want to say, did I take everything? Or am I offering you everything?
You definitely took the love of my life from me. You took the one thing in this shitty, miserable, disgusting city that made any of it worth it. You were a game to me. And the game's not fun anymore. I have no reason to keep you around anymore.
Spirit Bane charm. Spirit charm.
Go ahead and make your attune. And that will be a... And sorry, what's the goal? Your goal is to get Ghosty Boys to attack her? Like, straight up?
Not even attack her as much as get me out.
As in pick you up and lift you out of the building? Like, what do you...
Or, can I get Ghosty Boy to make the building fall?
That's a bit intense. That's like demolitions. That's...
How strong is this ghost?
I'll say that would to that goal that would probably be a desperate limited again. So you could try it, but you'll either have to spend the stress to increase the effect, or
How about instead of that, I want this ghost to attack the other people here, and I'll handle her.
all right.
There we go.
Yeah. Desperate.
Sorry, I
Limited.
was trying to figure out how I needed to use this.
Hey, it's good to talk through these things. I'm trying to get better at this game about saying yes, but. So if you want to tear down the house, fine, but limited, and there's going to be a consequence probably.
No. I got a 6 and a 1, and for our audience, that means we take the lowest one, which is a 1.
All right, so you. Brutal. I'm so sorry. Okay. All right.
It's
No,
okay,
it's
it's
a desperate
gotta
roll,
happen.
and a roll to 1. Okay, let's do this. No, nice GM. So here's what happens. You squeeze the spirit charm, and you start letting your mind wander. But the thing is, you've never attuned to the ghost field. Now, the ghost field is the electromagnetic cage of spirit energy that surrounds Duskfall. It's created by the gate that surrounds the city, and every citizen can kind of feel their spirit tugging away, trying to enter this ethereal something that pervades Duskfall. And Barnum, this is your first time actively trying to reach out and touch it. And as you're touching it, your vision blurs and everything turns bluish for a second. Then everything turns black and your vision comes back, and you feel a tingling overtaking your arm. And suddenly your whole body, you feel just this violent, intense shaking overcoming you. And suddenly you blink and everything is wispy and gray. It's like in a Lord of the Rings when he puts on the ring and enters that realm. That's pretty much what you're experiencing at this point. And suddenly you feel like you're bathed in fire. You feel like every square inch of your body has been submerged in molten hot lava. And in the distance, you see a figure staring at you. It seems like almost like the body of a child, but they have a hood pulled over and a mask covering their face, but their eyes look incredibly familiar to you. And they say something in a language you don't understand when, just like that, something stabs your brain and you are overwhelmed with pain as you take unless you resisted, a level 3 harm.
It's a level 2 because I have armor on it.
There you go, level 2 harm. We'll say spirit drained.
Right, and then I also have Battleborn. No.
And
Back.
as you come to, you see Ness just staring at you, perplexed and confused.
Okay. In this moment of confusion, I'm going to... Can I wreck a person, or can I just wreck
Yeah,
a
wreck.
place?
You can absolutely wreck a person. It's just a bit reckless, is all.
Actually, in this moment, I'm gonna pull my not to be trifled with card.
Okay.
And I'm going after just Ness and the guy behind me and anyone else that might have a gun.
All right, and not to be trifled with, your plan is to engage with this small gang on equal footing in close combat.
Yep.
All right, and what did you say you're rolling?
Skirmish?
Skirmish. Okay. And your goal is to basically take down these guys surrounding you.
Yeah, and as much as I can, her.
All right. So. All right. Your position is still desperate because you have a gun on your head, but your effect will be great because this is equal footing for you. So you have as much to gain as you have to lose.
All right, guys, you ready?
Do you have any flashbacks you'd like to use? Any stress points you'd like to spend? Anything like that?
I only have 1 stress left before I'm in a trauma, so no.
Man, this one's all or nothing.
I have an idea. if I may.
Jake, what's your idea?
I can spend 2 stress. I don't know how this applies because, like, in character, my character has no idea this is happening. But
that's the thing.
use a
if you
flashback.
can't- There we go. Flashback could help. Because narratively, if your character can't do something to help, then
In a flashback, I told 2 of our guys that were originally going to come with us to stay back with Barnum and hide in the back room of the bar for when shit went south.
all right. Go ahead and spend your 2 stress for that flashback.
Oh my god, that's a good one, Vega.
All right. And I'll, yeah, you can absolutely have your extra die.
How many? Because I feel.
I said 2.
Yes, but let me think here.
Yes, but that's fair.
I'm just gonna go ahead and do a weird thing, and
Hide.
instead of, how about, I got a compromise here. You have a choice. You can either take an extra die or increase your position to risky instead of desperate.
I'll take an extra dice.
All right.
Wait, what do you guys think? Vega and Thingama.
An extra die is good.
Do you have any devil's bargains for me?
Devil's bargain. Devil's bargain. Yeah, Ness gets away.
Okay.
Take your extra die.
Oh! Oh!
I feel like you guys are probably about to kill all of the gray cloaks left. So if one gets, if she's on her own and Hutch is gone.
You get a new villain.
Yep. I need a new nemesis. Alright, guys.
All right, so immediately you drop down and kick out the legs from the guy behind you that had the gun on you, and he goes spinning and lands in sort of a scorpion style with his head, legs over his head. And immediately the other men are in position. You hear 2 gunfire shots go off that miss you. As pulling out your knives, you dive forward, and immediately, and by the way, am I assuming that you're aiming to kill here, not knock out or anything like that?
I want to kill everyone. I would like to try to knock Ness out, though.
Ness is gone. Ness bolts out the door as part of your devil's bargain. She's
Okay, cool.
out.
Murder.
Ness immediately.
Lots of murder.
She sees that that this is about to kick off, and she dips out the door. As
soon as I see her go, I just want to say, I just want to narrative flourish. I just want to look behind myself and scoff, coward, and just keep going.
All right. You spin around kung fu fighting style, cutting these guys down, and again aiming to kill. And as one guy comes up behind you with a short sword, his brains exit his head as he falls to the ground. You see behind him, holding a pistol, one of the grinders that was sent to help you, and they spring into action as well. So, with your great effect, I started a new clock for the gray cloaks at the bar, which was 4 slices, and you cleared out 3. However, at this point, you're cutting and slicing, and already you hear dong, and you don't even know if those are for yours, considering what your friends are off doing. But nonetheless, you have a great rhythm on as you turn around and you see Shillelagh flying towards your face, a wooden club, basically, and you're gonna take a level 3 harm, unless you resist.
Level 2, I have armor.
The armor works once until your next score.
I was trying to find a way to argue that, and I was like, okay.
Now I have the page pulled open. When the armor box is marked, it can't be used again until it's restored. All your armor is restored when you choose your load in the next score.
And we have 2 different slots for armor. Does that mean anything at all, or is it just the
yeah,
one
you've
time?
got. Yeah, it's basically to mark that you've used it.
Armor takes 2.
Yeah, and to upgrade it to heavy armor, you would make it 3 slots.
Okay, I see.
So basically, you could take on another slot to like take that other armor, I believe.
Okay, got it. I had to find a good name for my harm. Sorry.
All right. So, are you going to resist Barnum? This level 3 harm.
I can't. Like, wait. No, I can resist. It doesn't take stress to resist, right?
You roll to see how much stress you take. To take none, you will have to roll 6, basically. So,
no.
I'm afraid, as per this desperate roll, Barnum, I believe you're out either from your harm or resisting it.
I can resist it just to see, but I feel like the chances are bad.
All right, your call.
How do I resist?
That'll be a prowess.
Wait. If you get a trauma, you can't get rid of the trauma, right? It's there forever.
Those stay with you.
Never mind. Level 3 harm's fine.
All right, immediately the club knocks you cold and you black out. Meanwhile, back at the headquarters where the fighting is still growing incredibly hot.
One.
Yes.
Would me taking out Hutch make another HQ cleared pie slice?
No, that took out the Hutch pie slice.
What about the bomb killing the dude that had it and getting
Yes,
shot?
that was our last situation. You see that the men you're fighting are starting to attempt to clear out for some reason.
Thingama is over Hutch's body and using fine wrecking tools, cutting the last sinew on the arm, and then he puts the arm behind him, so it's kind of like this.
That is grotesque. You don't need to roll an action for that, so that's fine.
Great. That's all I got.
All about the morale.
Yeah. So Vega, you're still in the rafters, yeah? No, you.
No, I'm still in the rafters. I use my climbing gear to swing from one set of the rafters to another set of the rafters as I was getting away from the explosion.
Gotcha. Well, with my arm all shot up to Vega. It looks like they're clearing out. Should we go, or are we winning?
How many are left? Out of character.
I'll say about, I don't know, making about 5 pie slices worth. So maybe 6 or 7.
Do we stay and keep going?
Our force defeated versus their force defeated. We're still in a pretty kind of jacked up position right now.
Can I study the room to see what they were gonna throw the grenade at?
Ooh, neato. Okay, sure. Let me see. How did your last roll go?
Probably great.
Probably great. Okay. Yeah. I'll say that'll be a risky standard.
Risky standards.
Or actually,
Risky.
towards your goal here, risky great, honestly,
Risky great.
because it's not actually that hidden.
Oh, okay. Bop! And that is a 3.
That is a whopping 3. All right, so Thingama, you scan the room immediately trying to see what this guy was aiming at with that grenade, and it's not hard. You couldn't see it well at first because it's mostly coated in shadow. There's not exactly lights hanging up around here. They kept this place dark for your arrival. You see behind the help desk, like where normally when this place was a city watch center, where maybe the info clerk would have been standing, you see piled behind the desk what looked like garbage, but just squinting and adjusting your night vision goggles, you see multiple barrels that are marked as explosive. And as you're checking this out, you hear a "Aah!" and you turn and you see one of the gray cloaks has just a giant metal bar, and he swings it at you and just plow, just right in your torso for level 2 harm. Unless you resist it.
No.
No.
Just hit in time.
All right, go ahead and take a, I don't know, what would we call that? Big boo-boo, whatever you want to call it. You got smashed with a metal pipe. It hurts. But, yeah, you've discovered that there is a pile of explosives, and you see that it wasn't just the one guy with a grenade. You see that a couple of them now are starting to, they turn back and they see that it's not going well as they're clearing out. So while trying to hold off your men, which they outnumber, you see a couple of them starting to try to light torches. And you see another one aiming his gun at the barrels. So what are you guys doing?
What is my position right now? Is it desperate because of what happened to me last time?
Yes, you would. Well, it depends on what you try to do, but in general, yes, your position is pretty desperate right now. So narratively, you're still scrambling, like you're still kind of shook after that explosion and wounded, and getting your bearings before whatever decision you're about to make.
Okay, so from that, I am going to notice the barrels about the same time that Thingama did, and then see the guy pointing the gun just below me where he's there, and I'm going to use prowl to drop down and just Assassin's Creed style put a knife in this guy's throat.
Love that Assassin's Creed biz. All right.
So that being said, because my position is desperate and because I am coming down from the rafters, I think that activates 2 different special abilities that I have.
No. What special abilities does it activate?
The one that I'm questioning is ambush, when you attack from a hiding spot or spring a trap.
That's fair.
But Daredevil, when I roll a desperate action, I get +1 die.
So
that would be
take
+2 die.
-1 to any resistance rolls.
-1 to any resistance rolls. Okay, so maybe that one doesn't apply.
No, that sounds good. It means basically, if something bad happens to you from this roll, you get -1 to trying to resist it. But yes, both of those apply to this context for sure. So you can absolutely have those 2 bonus die. This will be desperate standard. And we got a 6. All right, so Vega, immediately leaping down from the banister with your knife in hand, you manage to stab right into where the neck meets the shoulder, and his shot fires off wild. And you're gonna go ahead and get 2 slices in your HQ cleared clock. That was a mouthful. HQ cleared clock, HQ cleared clock. All right. So, Thingama, you see this occur. You see Vega stab that guy. What are you doing in the meantime? This guy just slammed you with a metal pipe, and he's still next to you. He doesn't seem to be retreating as fast. Meanwhile, there's still one more guy who has successfully lit a torch, and he is currently taking a few steps over, preparing to throw it at the barrels. What do you do?
I'm just going to skirmish with... you're going to remember this one. A skirmish with an unusual weapon. And hope that this guy, with his eye from the sky, would give me just a little bit of that comfort to know that I have enough room to go for this. So my unusual weapon, I'll go from over the top of this guy I just stabbed, whip out this giant hook blade that I had used previously.
Yep. On our first ever adventure together. I remember like it was yesterday.
And come through and go to just put this giant blade straight through this guy's trap right here.
All right. I'll say that'll be risky standard. And I'll go ahead and give you an option, a sort of devil's bargain, so to speak. Again, you can choose to take the +1 or increase your effect from your ally here.
choose to take the +1 or increase the effect. I've got a level 2 harm, so that takes away 1 die, right? That's it?
That lowers your effect, actually, so your effect would be limited.
My effect would be limited. So the level 2 harm?
I apologize. No, you are correct. I messed you up. Don't let me mess you up. You were correct, yes.
Okay,
-1.
then I'll use it to get the die back.
Okay, awesome.
Risky, standard, no bonus die.
And skirmish is like literally you entering the fray. Skirmish is like the Battle of Helm's Deep, like you and other soldiers shoving against each other and stuff. So
Fully prepared. I'm hoping this will be one of the last skirmish fighting moves we have to do. Please, God, work. No!
Oh no. Oh no. All right, so oh man. All right, you charge this guy with your hooked blade. Which one were you attacking? The one that was attacking Thingama, or the one that with the torch going towards the bomb?
The one with the torch going towards the bomb.
So immediately you charge at this guy, and he... Oh man. All right, I'm gonna say he throws the torch just as your blade comes down. He throws it and backs up just as your blade like down his front, and you watch almost in slow motion as the torch flies and lands on the barrel, the pile of barrels, and it's no reaction for a second, but then you see sparks, like several sparklers going off. These explosives are about to blow.
Farts.
So you're in a desperate position now.
So is it wicks, or are they just like the torch landed on the barrel and then the barrel is starting to explode?
You're not sure what it is. You don't see like wicks. You just see all of a sudden the barrels randomly sparking out of all their sides, as if whatever's coating like the outside of the barrels is the incendiary, and whatever explosives there are deeper in. There's not really a set timer as much as these are about to blow now, and your GM needed a narrative explanation of these are about to blow now.
Thingama.
You can see it this way. They are mid-explosion, and life is slow motion right now, and you just saw the first sparks of what's about to be an explosion.
Thingama runs over to Vega and gets between Vega and the explosion. So he uses his body to go in between them. And probably the hand, covers Vega's face.
Oh, man. All right, what action are you using for this? To get Vega to safety?
It might be prowl or finesse.
Prowl seems arguable. It's a physical feat of athleticism.
Yeah.
Using your body. All right, so I'm gonna say it's gonna be a... This is fun. Desperate Great.
Desperate Great.
Yep,
Cool.
I got something here.
I have a level 2 harm and a level 1 harm, so it's less effect and 1 less die. So, Desperate.
I will spend a stress.
To help me get a bonus die, correct?
There you go.
Yes.
Awesome.
How do you help him, Vega?
The only thing I can think of is that as he does this, I find a piece of one of the rafters that were there laying there, and I just pick it up and throw it in front of Thingama too.
All right, that's pretty legit.
I love it. And then I will spend 2 more stress to make it, bump it back up to great. And narratively, flashback. I'll go, so, Vega, how much do you weigh as we're planning all of it? You're like a string bean, huh? You're pretty. I probably weigh more than you. So, I'm just. What?
Okay.
So,
Okay.
great. Since it was a level 2 harm to knock it down 1 die, then Vega's pitching in will just negate that.
Mhm.
And here
So-
we go.
and
1
no-
down.
And what was your goal with the flash? Did you spend the stress to increase the effect as well?
So it was Desperate Great, and so my
And your
level
arm
1
took it down.
would have knocked it down, yeah, and then coming it back up.
Oh, so you
Two,
took... Okay.
so I spent 2 stress to restore it back to Great.
Understood. All right.
And then Devil's Bargain, I get an extra die if Thingama, like, I don't know if you're already planning a level 3 harm, but it's gonna hurt real bad.
I was already planning a level 3 harm.
Awesome. Then, so Devil's Bargain, I get knocked out for this.
That seems like what would happen if you took the harm anyway. How about this?
Yeah.
If you roll a 1 through 3, Thingama's dead. He dies in the explosion.
You're not allowed to take that.
That's
Go
a
ahead.
lot to take for 1 die, but I mean, the desperate harm is gonna knock you out. So it's your call if you want to risk it all for the biscuit all.
No.
Technically, rules as written, you can't do the thing to spend 2 stress and take a Devil's Bargain, but I love Devil's Bargain so much that I just ignore that rule.
Okay. Do you have armor that you can put on too, Thingama?
Yes, I do. I can spend for heavy armor.
Do that.
That
Like-
seems a lot less drastic than my suggestion.
I
even
will
though I
also.
like mine better.
I will also be wearing armor for this.
Okay.
Cool. So heavy armor.
I'm wearing regular armor to reduce 1.
All right. Well, first, you don't have to take the armor yet. You can take the armor when you take the harm. So let's first see how the harm goes.
Okay.
All right. So Desperate Great. Just straight up. Bop. That is a 1.
Wowzers! That Devil's Bargain would have sucked. It was so drastic. I started sweating when I said that. I'm like, why did you suggest that he's going to take it? All right, so...
I saw in Victor's eyes. I was like, he wants to take this so bad. Please don't.
All right, so...
But I spent 3 slots for heavy armor.
Well, sure enough, as you, as the explosion detonates, sending flame throughout this entire room, Vega and Thingama will both take a level 2 harm.
Does my armor take that down to a level 1?
Yes.
Or is that with the armor?
Did you use your armor before already? Or is this your first
No,
time using
I
it?
had not. This is my first time using the
Okay,
armor.
then yeah, it reduces it to a level 1 harm.
I have heavy armor. So
Yours reduces it 2 levels.
So I didn't get harmed? If it
You
was-
didn't get harmed. You go hurtling backwards into Vega as you both go blasting outside through the walls that have been detonated, boulders and debris and rock flying all over as you like flail over the ground on top of each other and just land like splayed out.
It's one of those where after we land, then I like unbutton my stuff and like you can see just the complete char bulletproof vest. Huh. Thank goodness for armor, huh?
And I'm laying there like breathless because you landed directly on my sternum and just
Yeah.
knocked the wind out of me.
Yeah, so we land, and then the camera's tied on me. Then I open up, and then the camera zooms out a little bit, and then yeah.
All right. So, also your forces are affected. I gave you both a level 2 harm, so I guess for them I just give level 2 harm.
Oh yeah, no, they can die. It's fine. They knew what they were.
However, you still have a slice left, so narratively, standing up from the wreckage, you see one of the men that came with you standing up, coughing, and he's looking around, and you see some of the gray cloaks are now the ones that cleared out from the building. They're walking forward with their rifles pointed at you, the ones that have pistols or guns coming around you. They're surrounding you guys on the floor, like next to each other, in a circle, closing in on you. And you hear a voice that says, all right, so we were told to kill you, but we were given the option of prisoners. It's your call. And it's just one of the guys holding a rifle aimed at you.
A flashback. So I will spend 2 stress to tinker an unusual weapon, where I'm in the workshop, and they're Barnum and Vega are talking about, oh yeah, no, this will be great. Oh yeah, Nest will it'll be great. And so I'm distracted at a table, and I'm making the loudest, I'm going through my gears and stuff, trying to figure out the loudest clicking mechanism I got, all my clockworks. And I'm like, okay, this is the loudest. So, then I'm like, where's my needle and thread? Because then, to now, then I go, okay, so it's either death or prison? Well, then I choose death, and then I pull off, the fabric on my heavy armor bulletproof vest, and it's this, suicide bomber jacket. Just a bunch of, lots of work stuff and, wires and stuff, and then I touch something, and then the whole vest starts clicking and clacking and just whirring and buzzing.
Come on.
So, okay, I'll say, I can't lie, you're still in a desperate position.
Great.
Definitely. Oh man, alright. This is, if you're willing to take what is totally a gimme, because I would like how this goes either way. I feel like it would be a standard effect realistically, but if it were great, a success would mean clearing that defeated clock. So for the sake of, the HQ cleared clock.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll go ahead and give you a desperate great.
Desperate great. Cool.
What is it? What is the deal here? What do we?
He's trying, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, you're trying to bluff them into thinking you have a big ol' suicide bomb vest.
That is exactly what I am doing.
Okay,
Yes.
and what are you rolling?
So I'm rolling Tinker, which is 4 die. This is gameplay meta. This is just whirring gears and clicking and wires and stuff, because I saw
It's
everyone.
not an actual bomb.
It's not an actual bomb. This
Understood.
is just the loudest clinking and clanking and gearing. So,
Understood.
desperate. What was the effect?
Great.
Great. It is dropped down to standard because I have a level 1 harm, which has less effect. And then I have a level 2 harm, which is -1 die. So would I do... Okay, bonus die. -1. Cool, great. So,
And then I spend a stress to give you that die back. And narratively, that is you take and reveal what's going on. And I had no idea. that you had done that, so I look over and I'm like, "Oh Jesus Christ!"
Yeah, because he was talking with Barnum behind me the whole time.
All right.
I want to say, wait. Can I give him a stress from the in the flashback, or give him an extra die from the flashback? If I can find a way to argue it.
You would have to use your stress.
Okay.
Also, Vega, this is your last stress, yeah?
No, I have one. Well, the next stress that I take gives me a trauma.
Yeah.
All right. So what you got, Barnum?
Of this one, or without, like...
After
So-
this one that I just
Okay.
gave you.
Okay.
If I take this one, my stress will be full. So is it when the stress is full you get a trauma, or the stress is full and then the next one's a trauma?
When stress is full.
Oh, yeah, no.
You don't think trauma's worth it? Because, I mean, like, we could kill all the gray cloaks but one.
I mean...
It's up to you whether or not you want that trauma.
Yeah.
I don't think a trauma's gonna hurt me that bad. Looks at Edwin's face for a long second to test that theory.
You didn't kill Ness and you're unconscious, so like at this point I'm impressed that you're just finding ways to be useful while almost dead.
I know, right? That's what I'm thinking. My theory was, while Thingama was building this thing in the workshop, I kind of like went over at some point as he was finishing it up, and I made a couple suggestions on how to make it look scarier and a little more like.
Oh, so if I put the ears like that and then like a lot of wire this way, it looks like a frowny face.
Yeah, and then maybe, I like, and maybe I hit a blade here and a blade here and 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 here.
Oh, wow, great, yeah. Wow.
And now I have a trauma.
Awesome.
Ooh, our first trauma.
I figure we gotta take one eventually, right? We're like 6, 7, 8 games in.
So, all together, it's desperate, great. Vega gave me a stress for a die, and then Barnum just gave me so it's one bonus die altogether. Plus,
Sounds right.
sounds right. Great, and click submit. So, Tinker, that is a 4, a 2, a 4, 4, and a 3.
All right, so that is a 4 being your highest. So on a desperate standard. Okay. So let's see, how are we gonna... So immediately the men start... The standard effect, you're gonna go ahead and get 2 slices in your HQ cleared clock. As a few of them go, oh god, he's the mad one, he's got a bomb, run! And a few of them do take off, but one of them just isn't moving. He is not having it. So he's gonna go ahead and immediately pulling up his pistol, aiming at you, and he says, "You ain't gonna kill yourself. I can see it." And immediately the one guy who was still alive on your crew, he quickly raises his pistol, and the guy doesn't hesitate, just turns his arm and fires. And your final man that you had brought with you goes down. Well, there's no getting around it. He points his pistol at Thingama and says, "Nice try, though." And he pulls the trigger. And Thingama, pure reflex, you duck enough that it doesn't get your head or your heart, but you take a level 2 harm unless you resist.
That's awesome. Nah, I'll take that.
Would have been a level 3 if I didn't just kill your dude, but you know,
Awesome.
see what I did there? I spread it. One
That's great.
Yes, I will. All right, so yeah. That being said, Thingama, you get shot, and your armor doesn't work again. It only worked, when you used it last time.
Perfect.
So unless you unless you resist, you're gonna take the 2 harm. Do you resist?
No, I'll take it.
All right, go ahead and take a level 2 harm gunshot as you just the force of the bullet sends you just flying backwards onto your butt.
And then no, we'll keep going.
How far are we away from this guy?
Within 10-15 feet.
As we're standing there side by side looking at this dude with a gun pointed at us, and I assume because of the type of gun that it is, he has to reload it. Me and Thingama both look at each other, look back at him, both pull out a blade or two of our own and charge him simultaneously.
So you're leading a
To get-
group skirmish action? All right.
What?
So go ahead and both of you make a skirmish roll. Vega's leading this action?
If I throw my knives, would it be finesse instead? Or
Then it would
prowl
be a
or
group action. Then it would be separate actions. Like a group action means you're all doing the same action. So if you want to do a separate action, then one of you is just gonna have to go first.
Because I have no dots in skirmish, and I don't want to.
You have nuts in skirmish?
Or
I
if you
have.
both threw-
Okay, I can. We can both throw knives. I have a finesse as well. I have one in finesse.
Yeah.
All right.
Just-
Do you have a stress to take, or is it like your next one gives you a trauma?
Next one gives me a drop.
Oh my god, we're in the exact same position, so it doesn't matter who leads it. One of us is going to take the trauma here.
Risk it all for the biscuit all.
I'll take a trauma. Thingama has just been chomping at the bit for a trauma, just personality-wise.
All right. So we both roll a finesse.
Yes. Both of you roll finesse. This will be a risky standard.
Risky standard, and because I have 2 level 2 harms, that just knocks it down 1 die.
Only
correct?
if you're whoever's leading the action is the only one that position and effect matters for. Because they're the ones that take the. Sorry.
Well, that being said,
Let me rephrase. Sorry. The position matters for you both. But the effect will take whoever's effect is higher. And whoever's leading the action, you just take any stress from failed rolls.
okay, so it'll take my effect because I only have 1 level 1 harm.
Yes. Or it'll take. Sorry.
Okay.
I'm sorry. It's getting late and I misheard. Is Thingama leading the action? You said because you had more stress. Okay.
So it sounds like both of us have 1 stress left to spend, but Thingama will lead so that he can get the trauma.
Okay. So yeah. Risky standard.
Risky standard, right?
Yes.
I
Sorry
have
about
You're good. I have a level 1 harm, so instead of standard, it's limited. Risky limited.
Correct.
Submit, and then bonus die. I have 2 level 2 harms, so that's 1 negative 1 die. Correct?
Correct. Yes. Those do not
Okay.
stack. Yeah.
Cool. Great.
And then I will also take 1 negative 1 die.
Well, mother balls. Cool. So we just did great. I rolled a 1 for risky limited. 1. And then Vega rolled a 3 and a 2 for finesse, so that's 2. So it's just real bad all around.
All right. So you both look at each other. With a moment of understanding, you both pull out and fling your knives. And unfortunately, you are so injured and tired and dizzy and wobbly, he is able to easily deflect one of them and just step out of the way for the other. And in one stride, he leaps forward and he stabs forward with a saber that he's pulled out after dropping his pistol. And he stabs into Thingama's stomach for a level 2 harm.
Well, I have 2 level 2 harms, so would that bump it up to a level 3 harm?
Yes, it would.
Bad intent.
Unless you resist
and
it.
that was also, I don't have.
Oh,
I
wait,
don't-
you
well,
can't because you just. Sorry, let me rephrase. You just took your stress as well, so you get stabbed. And as far as harm goes, you need help, but also immediately the pain, even for a drug-addled maniac such as you, is overwhelming. And that was your last stress. Then Thingama is going to black out.
So, I have a trauma, and I'm just knocked unconscious. Yeah.
Yep. So Vega, it comes down to you. You and this one guy
If
who just
he-
stabbed your friend in the stomach, and he turns towards you as he pulls the blade out, and it schlicks from Thingama's gut.
All right. I have no options. I am going to cut this dude's throat.
All right. Action you use
If it's a good old-fashioned throat cut, I'm gonna prowl just to be as quick as possible, hoping to take advantage of the moment that he chose Thingama over me. And the
Prowl-
moment I see him,
it. Okay, for prowl, I would give you. And after your fail from the last roll, no, I'm gonna give you a risky standard, because him stabbing Thingama is probably enough time for you to get your bearings and get on your feet and do something. So, risky standard.
prowl, risky standard, so Daredevil does not apply.
I'll say with a. Because prowl is usually for sneaking and them not seeing you or expecting you. If you used finesse, maybe. Right? No, prowl works. I'm overthinking it. Go ahead. Just do the thing. Do the thing.
So one less die, one less effect. And if I take a stress, I pass out, right?
Yes, the action, I'll let the action happen first, but then you'll pass out.
Okay, so then I will not take a stress for this. I'll just do it as is. So
Devil's bargain.
risky.
I got a devil's bargain.
Okay.
And you're not gonna love it. But, you could take a die. If you fail here... No, you can take a die, and in return, your crew is getting... someone's going to jail. Basically.
How long are we in jail for?
It depends on how much heat and it depends on how much wanted level you have.
I accept your devil's bargain.
Alright.
Risky, limited, and then one less die, so 2 die total. Oh, thank God.
Alright, so here's how I'm gonna play it out. As soon as he stabs Thingama, you're already standing on your feet and leaping forward, and he turns and leaps forward, and you both jump and swoop past each other, giving a single swing of your blades as you both land on either side. Both of you just holding your blades, standing. All is silent. And then both of you, your knees give out and you fall. As Vega, you take a level 2 harm. What's your harm at?
I have 1 level 1 and 1 level 2.
Alright, holy crap. That's... Alright, Vega, he falls and you fall on your knees. And you look behind you and you see he is on the ground, unmoving. And at this point, a crowd has started to gather around, like civilians starting to look at this explosion. And some of the wiser people that are moving on, minding their damn business. This is Crow's Foot. And Vega, you look around, nothing but debris, bodies, ongoing fires, still sputtering with whatever oil was used in that explosion. Thingama's body thrown on the floor, bleeding next to you. Barnum, who knows where. But luckily for you, what Barnum was doing wasn't the focus of this score. The focus of the score was clearing out this HQ and defeating the majority of the Grey Cloak troops. And for all intents and purposes, the score is a success.
Yeah.
Yay.
Oh my god.
So
Oh
glad.
my god. Nobody died.
Well,
Alright.
that's true.
So.
Oh Jesus.
All right. So, however, Thingama and Vega, when you guys come together, you guys are limping out of the city. Vega, you're having to basically carry Thingama in order for him to walk. Oh no, Thingama's passed out unconscious, isn't he? So you're carrying the little guy. That was patronizing. I'm sorry. But Barnum does not return to HQ. Barnum, you actually don't know where she is. For our payoff for the score, however, you guys do get a reputation. Let me see. Two rep by default. The crew is a higher tier than you, so that's a plus. That's 3 rep.
3 rep total, or
Hold on, I'm reading off the.
sorry.
4 rep total.
So that puts us up a tier from where we are.
Well, here's the thing, you're also no longer at war. So, as far as our factions go, our little factions clocks. So the Grey Cloaks, they are no longer at war with you. And you successfully lowered their hold. I'll say this is a bit meta, this is a bit extreme, but honestly... Yeah, no, okay, so you lowered their hold to weak now, as a tier 2, right?
Are there any Grey Cloaks left? Or is
That's
it...
the thing, you
Nest?
murdered a whole lot, so I'm gonna go ahead and, I'm gonna say you dropped them, like, because you killed one of the leaders, and you murdered almost their entire force, so I'll say they dropped probably an entire tier level. So, and that's not how the mechanics work, but we're having fun here. It feels right. It feels like you guys dogged them up, so...
Could it change from the Grey Cloaks to just Ness? Now, just like renaming it?
That's a really neat idea, Victor. Thank you. Yeah.
I think that's how. Yeah, I think that makes sense too. That's
that
cool.
makes, yes, and we don't have to break the mechanics and like be full of shit, so that's great. Weak. Their hold, yeah, okay, so. Oh man, I think, here's the thing, when they went to war with you, I think I was supposed to reduce their hold as well. So I think they actually are a level. Ness is a tier 1 crew with a strong hold. And at a -2 status, she is no longer going to be openly going to fight. However, you guys are going to take...
Ness, do you wanna, Barnum, do you wanna change her description under faction?
You
You're
take,
gonna mess with it.
you take 5 heat between the explosion and the fire that started, and the spirit bell just gonging away through the night to indicate the lost souls tonight. Entanglements. So, with your 2 wanted level, I'm going to be rolling 2 dice from this nifty little table. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right. Roll 2d6.
5 and 6.
You are so lucky that you don't have 1 more heat, because I just rolled arrest on the next table. One of you would have gone to jail. All right. As it stands, what I rolled was show of force. So, a neutral faction throws their weight around. They threaten you. A faction with whom you have a negative status makes a play against your holdings. You don't have any holdings yet. So,
Gotcha.
Gotcha.
if you have no claims,
Second.
lose 1 hold instead. So your cruise hold drops from strong to weak. So you have a weak hold on your tier 2. All right. And oh. So instead of doing downtime now, we'll do that at the beginning of next session. On account of it's pretty late. But there is something I would like to do because our friend Barnum is gone, nowhere to be seen, and I want to address that because Barnum, you're floating. You are floating in this dark place. It feels like water almost against your back, like you're floating down a river. And you open your eyes and you see nothing. You see no water, no sky, nothing. And then clouds start to part in the sky. And where there was just pitch dark blackness before, the moon starts to appear. And as it does, almost like a reflection in your eyes, 2 dimmer moons appear alongside it. And looking directly down where the moonbeam's landing, you see again this figure that you saw when you first tried to attune to the spirit charm. This figure, again, looks young, looks maybe like a little taller than Thingama. They're wearing a hood over their head and a mask over their face. And you can't quite understand them. Their voice is warped and muddled, like auto-tune thing going on. But they tell you, they say, "Du har till dig, kan du förstå mig?" And it's like warped, bubbling words. And you see her eyes. They look incredibly, insanely familiar, her eyes. Kannst du mich verstehen? And it's all muddled. It seems like she's just trying languages. And then she says, "Can you understand this?" Thank God. Okay. And she starts walking towards you quickly, like gliding across the ground like a ghost. And she's just short of you. And she's just a little shorter than you. And she says, "This is the only chance I've had to talk to you. We don't have much time. I have some things to explain, things you need to know that are really important. Okay, basically this world is going to end again. And the people who are going to do it are people that you can get to, and I cannot. And you kind of owe it to me to get to them, because it's only because of me that you're, well, here. No offense. I don't mean to be rude, but like I said, I'm pressed on time, and also I've been here a long time. I'm sorry, you have to be scared. Do you have any questions or anything? God, you look rough. Is that
What?
And she reaches out to touch your face, like where your scars are. And she like traces a finger down and says, "Oh, what happened to you?"
Which part?
Sorry, usually when I'm talking to people while I'm doing this, they're awake, and in this place I can't do that. I can only get them when they're just on the edge. You're not
What?
dead, by the way. You're just really close to dead. That's why I'm able to reach you. You're on that cusp just between the two.
I thought I would be dead for sure this time.
Look, you have to get to the Dagger Isles, okay? You have to get to the Dagger Isles and find whatever it is that Skurlock thinks he's looking for, because it is not what he thinks. It is so much worse than anything he would know what to do with. You need to get it before him. And then, I don't know, I'm just hoping I can get in touch with you again.
Who are you? What are you? Do you have? And I pull out my little wooden token. I have this. Is this? Can you get to me through this?
No, it's not. It's not that easy. It's not a spirit thing. Oh, screw it. And she reaches up and grabs her mask and yanks it down and yanks back her hood and just stands there with a "so there" kind of look. And looking back at you is your reflection. but without any of the scars. Possibly a little paler even. She looks about, it looks like you, but about 16 or 17 years old. And she says, we are the same person. Where I'm from, I'm called Okira, but I recently found a way to be able to interact with myself across a lot of planes. And hold on, let me finish. I think you're about to wake up. There's someone else who is also able to do this. I don't know how she figured it out, but me and my friends have been chasing her through every existence, every plane, everywhere we can look, and we found her here somewhere. I can sense her, but I can't. I'm not strong enough yet. I'm not smart enough. All of these, and she starts looking like she's tugging on things, and she says, "These just make no sense to me yet. There's too many. Just don't die, okay? If you die, all I have is..." And just like that, she's gone. And you open your eyes, and your vision is blurred, and you're looking up at what seems to be a dungeon cell. And you sit up, and there's just mason stone walls all around you, and a metallic door that's bolted shut. And that is where we will conclude our session for this evening. Wasn't that fun?
Are you trying to do a crossover game?
No, that would be weird. All right, so thank you so much. Oh, wait, let's do XP. Let's not do that yet. Let's do XP. That's pretty fast.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
So, did your crew execute... We're doing the crew sheet first. Did your crew execute a successful burglary, espionage, robbery, or sabotage operation?
Was this like this was assault? So like, was that sabotage?
We sabotaged.
It's your call.
Kind of destroyed the entirety of their HQ. If that's not
Destruction's-
sabotage, I don't know.
Destruction, sabotage, yeah. Did you contend with challenges above your current station?
Yep.
Did you bolster your crew's reputation or develop a new one?
Yes. Oh, and that is a new crew advancement. We filled our XP.
Beautiful. We will discuss that off the air, but congratulations, you guys. And of course, did you express the goals, drives, inner conflict, or essential nature of the crew?
Always.
I feel like that one's a big one, yes. I'm going to type in here so we don't forget. Crew advancement. All right.
Oh yeah, I got it in it's on our notes as well.
All right. Who wants to go next for their personal XP?
I'll go.
All right, Barnum, for your experience points, did you address a challenge with violence or coercion?
Yes, and I have an advancement.
And a personal advancement for Barnum. Did you express your beliefs, drives, heritage, or background?
Yes.
And finally, did you struggle with issues from your vice or trauma?
Yep.
Did you?
I mean, I feel like I went and did my vice and struggled with that.
You didn't face, I don't think you really struggled with it, did you? It's more like you rolled vice.
Okay, fine.
Come on, Paige, don't be a weasel. All right, thank you.
Can't argue it.
All right, thank you very much, Barnum and Paige McCay. Who is next?
I'll go next.
Oh, God, I love your voice. All right, go on, Thingama. Did you address a challenge with technical skill or mayhem?
I will say multiple times.
Yes, you did! Go ahead and take those experience points. Did you express your
Yeah.
beliefs, drives, heritage, or background?
Not particularly.
All right. And did you struggle with issues from your vice or traumas during the session?
Not particularly.
That's very fair. Thank you very much, Thingama / Victor Rivera. And lastly but not leastly, our hype man, I loved his reaction so much. Vega, did you address a challenge with stealth or evasion?
Yes.
Yes, you did. Did you express your beliefs, drives, heritage, or background?
Each tries heritage or background. No.
All right. And did you struggle with issues from your vice or trauma during the session?
Nope.
All right. Well, with that. Oh, yeah. All right. I think that's everything. Awesome. Well, thank you so much, everyone, for watching our show tonight, and I hope that everyone has a safe, lovely evening filled with love and beauty and happiness and smiles. And just remember, the world is a dark enough, scary enough place without us making it more so. So let's just be cool out there. And until next time I get to see these beautiful people, I hope so very much that you get a game in this week. Until next time, my friends, take care and good night.